ya, I love. See ya. I got that word in me. I keep that time, we moving that word like some birds in me. Never let go of that. We the devil like the flow, we walk alone with that. They bout some tanks with them. The Torah moon say yes and you ain't with them. We do it for the vibe, enough for the bang figures. Say yes and this person you can't go. I got that word in me. I keep that time, we moving that word like some birds in me. Never let go of that. We the devil like the flow, we walk alone with that. They bout some tanks with them. The Torah moon say yes and you ain't with them. We do it for the vibe, enough for the bang figures. Say yes and this person you can't go. Teaching them young ones the bus gun that said that them young girls that said can't them sell us. Just said that we shipping is real, that might mean that we waking up people they dead in their sleep. They want all they eat but don't hear it, no see. They lost in the sea. I came off their power, they hustle, they grind me, they stab you in your vest, they love you, they slime me, don't try me, I'm ready for war. I keep that sword, lay down the spirit so low, raise it back off on the floor. The weapon is really in it, showing mercy, cause it's really feeling. But it's haters living, cause they wanna hit me. Know the father's in me, exposing their way, showing they wicked who follow they with them. I'm handing their business, cause I gotta get it though. They die for the system, it's bred by the serpent. They want me stay dry like a surgeon, want blood on my hand, wanna see murder. They took it by the devil, but I do not serve them. Step on the head of the snake, I might hurt them. Heard they been lurking, I'm searching. Beat don't play no. And they got right on the move when they come against the word like a K-Tro. I got that word in me. I keep that time, we moving that word like some birds in me. Never let go of that. We the devil like the flow, we walk alone with that. They bout some tanks with them. The Torah moon say yes and you ain't with them. We do it for the vibes, enough for the bang figures. Say yes to this person you can't go. I got that word in me. I keep that time, we moving that word like some birds in me. Never let go of that. We the devil like the flow, we walk alone with that. They bout some tanks with them. The Torah moon say yes and you ain't with them. We do it for the vibes, enough for the bang figures. Say yes to this person you can't go. We be that glory, that spirit, he born. We own it, that bread that from heaven. We got it, you want it all night up on the word. We be back up in the morning, got that water like a river keep flowing. Reject all the young ones cause they minds still growing. Show the mercy to the old, got a wise man wrong. Parable upon. I'd like to give all praise to the Heavenly Father. Yo, by the power of His word, I rock. Hallelujah, family. Tonight we're going to go over a little bit of the law and touch a bit on it so we can get some understanding so people would know the meaning of worshiping the letter or worshiping Yah, following His commandments. So let me get ready to share my screen, family. We're going to start about 15 seconds, family. Okay, family. We're going to start off with 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yah, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Now, it's the reason why they tell us to study ourselves to be approved unto Yah. And it tells us to be a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. You shouldn't be ashamed when you divide this word of truth, getting the right understanding, rightfully dividing the word of truth. You're dividing the word of truth, but you're doing it rightfully. So that means these things you read blatantly don't just mean what you want them to mean or to say what you want them to say. They have a total different understanding. That's why we're going to touch into the law. We're going to start off with 2nd Esdras, 14 to 20. Behold, Yah, I will go. Behold, Yah, I will go as you have commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? This the world is set in darkness. So the world is in chaos, lawlessness. And they that dwell therein are without light. So they're without law. For your law is burnt. So we know at those times, the law was destroyed, stolen, taken, such things happened. They were without the law. Therefore, no man knoweth the things that are done of you, or the work that shall be begun. But if I have found grace before you, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning. You know, Ezra is going to recompile the Torah by the Holy Spirit and the works that they find around them, which were written in your law, that men may find your path, that they which will live in the latter days may live. And he answered me, saying, Go your way, gather the people together, and said to them that seek you not for 40 days. But look, you prepare you many bok trees. Take with you Sariah, Debriah, Salimia, Icanus, and Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly. So he's taking with him scribes, those that are going to be writers. So as we see, many of those that are over the books of Torah, they had scribes and writers for them. So many of their accounts, they wasn't writing firsthand. Some things they did, but a lot of their writings comes from their scribes. And come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in your heart. So he's going to put a spirit into his mind, which shall not be put out till the things be performed. You shall begin to write. When you have done some things, shall you publish, and some things shall. Let me remove this, family. Give me a second. Verse 26, and he said, and when you have done, some things you shall publish, and some things you shall show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow, this hour, shall you begin to write. So some things he was only going to show unto the wise. The rest was for the learning of the people. Let no man therefore come unto me now, nor seek me after these 40 days. So I took 5 men as he commanded me, and went into the field and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Open your mouth and drink that I give you to drink. Then opened my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I looked it, and I took it and drank. And when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast. For my spirit strengthened my memory. So that he drank of that spirit of that cup, and it strengthened his memory, gave him understanding. And my mouth was open and shut no more. The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men. And they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day. And at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in the day, and held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. So they wrote 204 books to recompile the Torah and other books. And it came to pass when the 40 days were filled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that you have written, publish openly. So the openly is to the people, so they may have learning and understanding, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that you mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom. and the stream of knowledge. And I did so. So I went over that for a reason, family, because we're going into the letter of the law. And the law, which is the law of Moses, because many people don't understand it. And it's written by the scribes, because we don't have the original writings of Moses, because scribes wrote his original writings also. He had some first-hand accounts, but the scribes wrote his writings. Then Ezra recompiled the writings. Even after the time of Ezra, the scribes that would pass them on, they also recopied these things. So we had other scribes after. And we also were dealing with translators, family. So we go to Exodus 2. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. The woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was goodly, a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. See, I'm bringing this up to show you this is scribal writings. This is not Moses actually writing this account, family. So we jump down to Numbers 1, why they start off these ways, because we're dealing with scribes and translators later on. And it says, and Yah spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. And we jump down to verse 17. It says, and Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names. So we're seeing the narration because the narration comes from scribes, and we also get narration from translators. But we're dealing with the scribes right now, fam. Leviticus 1 says, and Yah called unto Moses. See, this is not a first-hand account writing. This is a scribal writing. Leviticus 4. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, another scribal writing. Leviticus 10 and 8, it says, and Yah spake unto Aaron. So we will be dealing with Aaron in that context of his vision of speaking to Yah, which is another scribal writing. Joshua 8 and 32 tells us, and he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses. This is not the 5 books, what they call Torah. He writing, they literally have certain tablets, and such things have certain particular laws written on them. They had a particular one with laws of the commandments. They had ones with the laws that Moses written laws. So he wrote a copy of those laws. He's not writing a copy of Genesis, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, and such things. He's writing up the tablets of the law. So we need to understand also. So we get to Exodus 31 and 18. And he gave it to Moses when he had made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai. So we're reading from a scribal standpoint. Scribe is writing this, saying that he gave unto Moses. And when he had an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Yah. So Moses was given 2 tables of stone by the messengers of Yah. That's what it says, written with the finger of Yah. And these are 2 tables of stones. See, these are the commandments we were given. I brought this up because this is written by a scribe also. Deuteronomy 33, we also see that. It says, and this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Yah. See, this is a scribe writing this. Not Moses not writing this first-hand account. This is a scribe. So people that worship the letter and get mad when Yahweh comes along and get mad at the other prophets, they don't even know what the other prophets teach. So they'll be mad at these other prophets, and they're mad at Yahweh when they come along, because we know that the scribes wrote the law. The writings that we all have are written by scribes. Scribes of Moses, written by Ezra, and the scribes after. And we're also dealing with translators when we get into the English. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Yah, blessed the children of Yasharal before his death. Moses didn't write that. That's the scribe that wrote that. And he said, Yah came from Sinai. So the scribe is telling us what Moses said. And Yah came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran. And he came with 10,000 of saints. So we have the scribe speaking of what Yah done with Moses. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Yeah, he loved the people. All his saints are in your hand. And they sat down at your feet. Everyone shall receive of your words. Moses commanded us a law. Remember, we had the commandments. Moses commanded them a law. Even the inheritance of the congregation of Yahweh. See, Moses appointed these things. And he was king in Jeshurun. So we know Moses was king. He was king in Jeshurun. with the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. So we know he was a king and a priest. So that's why Yahushua was symbolic to be like unto Moses, a king and a priest. Many people don't know these things. They don't know that these books are written by the scribes. So they worship Moses. They worship the letter. When they understand this, it literally told you when I read here, the scribe is telling you, wherewith the man of Yah. He's talking about Moses. Bless the children of Yasharal before his death. Clearly inside he's showing you these is written by his scribes and later on scribes. Because Ezra's now repiled the Torah. And you can check that out from the scholars. Many people don't know that. We go to Exodus 19. We see in the 3rd month, when the children of Yasharal were going forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. They were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before a mount. And Moses went up unto Yah, and Yah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, You shall say unto the house of Yahweh, and tell the children of Yasharal, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant. So Yah tells them, if we will obey his voice, family, and keep his covenant that he gave us, then shall you be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And this ties into the covenant with this in Deuteronomy 5, because that same chapter goes into things that are in the covenant. But Deuteronomy 5 sums up what the covenant is that he's speaking of, keeping his covenant. And Moses called all Yasharal and said unto them, Hear, O Yasharal, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that you may learn them and keep and do them. Yah our father made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yah made not this covenant with our fathers. So this covenant has nothing to do with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It was the promise passed through them to us. And that covenant he made with us was at Horeb, what we were supposed to do. And that was the commandments. And this is what we're reading. Yah made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. So this covenant has nothing to do with Abraham's circumcision covenant. It has nothing to do with Jacob, Isaac's covenant, because they fulfilled their duties. Abraham received his promises, passed his child. Received his promises, passed his child, received to us. And we're the ones waiting on the inheritance of the promises of our covenant, which he made a new covenant with us. See, this is just the time of them. We even had one made in Jeremiah 31. But we're going from this standpoint. Yah took with you face to face in the mount. But let's finish that. Yah made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us who are all of us, here alive this day. Yah talked with you face to face in the mount of the midst of the fire. I stood between Yah and you at that time to show you the word of Yah, for you were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. So we know we're going into the commandments. This is the covenant that he made with us. The covenant Yah made with us that we were supposed to keep was his commandments. I told you they keep running back and forth to everybody else's covenant or what they want to be the covenant. When they come out of Egypt, then the Mount Horeb, he tells them, Yah made this covenant with us. This is not Abraham's covenant. It's not Isaac or Jacob's covenant. It's the children of Jacob, Yasharal, the 12 tribes. This is our covenant. And that covenant is keep the commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make any great image or likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath. You shall not bow down yourself unto them nor serve them, for I am Yah, your father. I am a jealous God. He is a protecting God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love and keep my commandments. See, he's given us his commandments. You shall not take the name of your God in vain, Yahweh. For Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Shabbat day to sanctify, as Yah your father has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is a Shabbat of Yah your father. In it you shall not do any work. You nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates, that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you. So even your servants or your workers, you run a business, your workers are supposed to also rest. You're not supposed to be home kicking it and your workers out there so you can keep collecting your money. They're supposed to have that day resting also, giving to Yah to do whatever they wanted to do, pleasing of their will at their own homes or such around their children. And that's supposed to be under your bondage of rest. Without them having rest, you're only having rest. See, these people don't understand what the law really teaches and means about that Shabbat. It's about having a rest separate, that day being separate to praise Yah, to take care of your family, to be with your children, to not do work for a job, companies or such. But in captivity is different. That's why throughout this book it teaches us how to walk. And remember that you was a servant of Egypt, that Yah brought you out from there through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Remember, he used his spirits, his angels, and he used Moses, placing his spirit in Moses, leading him. Therefore, Yah, your father, commanded you to keep the Shabbat day. Honor your father and your mother, as Yah hath commanded you, that your days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with you in the land which your father giveth you. You shall not kill, neither shall you commit adultery, neither shall you steal, neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor, neither shall you desire your neighbor's wife, neither shall you convey your neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. See, this is the commandment, family. This is the laws, the statutes, judgments of Yah given unto us. This is his covenant. The covenant he made with us when we brought us out of Egypt that they didn't want to keep. This is that covenant. Moses told you this wasn't the covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, no, this ain't the one he made with our fathers. This is the one he made with us. And in this covenant, he's supposed to keep the commandments. That's what a lot of people overlook. They run to Abraham's covenant. They run the things told to Isaac and Jacob, which the promises was passed down to us. The promises is to get the land inheritance, to be his holy people, his particular treasure. But he told us we must keep his commandments in the covenant he gave us. The commandments. That's why I went over this, family. Deuteronomy 5. We find out in Wisdom of Solomon 18:9. It says, for the righteous children of good men did sacrifice secretly, and with one consent made a holy law. See, Moses done made a holy law. Remember, Yah brought his messengers, his angels, his spirit. He brought forth his messengers to bring forth some commandments unto Moses, written on two tables of stone. I literally just read it in Deuteronomy 5, right? But let me go back because I didn't read something. At the bottom, in Deuteronomy 5, within this covenant, verse 22 tells us, these words spake unto all your assembly. So Yah spake unto all your assembly these words, family, our people. In the mouth of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, of the thick darkness, with a great voice. And you know what, family? He added no more. He didn't add any more words to this, family. This covenant, Moses literally told you this. And by his scribe, the scribe that wrote it for him, told us in verse 22, after you read this whole covenant, start at verse 1 of Deuteronomy chapter 5, so you can understand it yourself. He said, and he added no more. Nothing else added unto this covenant Yah gave unto us. That's why you can understand the things Paul say and many of the prophets, when they come along, what they speak. A lot of people overlook what they was talking about. But this is that covenant that brings you salvation. Not Abraham's covenant. That's why people was against all on circumcision. That's Abraham's covenant. You ain't getting salvation for Abraham's covenant. You get salvation from the covenant we was getting. Moses told you out his own mouth. Y'all don't listen to Moses, but y'all run to the law. He added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone. So, literally in those 2 tables of stone was literally written these commandments, these statute judgments, this law. This covenant was in these 2 tables of stones. And delivered them unto me. So we have the covenant of Yah that he gave unto us that will bring us salvation if we walk in them. Literally written in the chapter of Deuteronomy 5. And it ends in verse 22. No more words were added unto this covenant. See, when you're in Exodus 19, well, I was at Exodus 19 and you're reading it, you never find out where the covenant ends at when you're reading it. That's why the scribe particularly told you in Deuteronomy 5, verse 22. Covenant was in after verse 22. He added no more words to this covenant. And he wrote these in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me. This is Moses speaking. His scribe is writing an account of Moses, and this is what Moses said. There was nothing else added unto this covenant that will bring us salvation. These are the commandments of Yah. Whenever you hear about the commandments, the laws, the judgments, statutes of Yah, this is what it's talking about. Now when we got the wisdom of Solomon 18:9, it tells us, for the righteous children of good men did sacrifice secretly, and with one consent made a holy law. So Moses made a holy law that the saints should be like partakers, so that we should be partakers, the descendants of this holy law. That's why you have the commandments of Yah, and they always holler about the Torah, because this is the law that Moses put together. The commandments comes from Yah, his angel, his messenger, given to Moses on 2 tables of stone. That's within the Torah of the 5 books. We read it in Deuteronomy 5. I read it to you, fam. But we have all these other laws that's added, because the righteous children of good men, our ancestors, they sacrificed secretly. And with one consent, they made a holy law that the saints should be like partakers of the same good and evil. The fathers now singing out the songs of praise. So our fathers, this is what they've been singing out, the songs of praise. Speaking of that law. But they always kept overlooking the commandments of Yah that bring us our salvation, that we must walk in. Now the law of Moses that our ancestors, not only Moses, they came together with one consent. Solomon told you this by his wisdom, that wisdom given from Yah. But one consent that we will be like partakers of this. So we walk in these such things because we see the righteousness that is within this law. But there are things that are also overlooked in the law that Yahweh spoke of and many other prophets. And I'm going to get to it, but let's go to Deuteronomy 1:5. On this side Jordan in the land of Moab, Moses to declare this law. Moses declared laws, family, but he's going to tell us what was spoken to him. This is a scribe writing, remember that. Saying, the Lord our God, Yah, spake unto us in Horeb, which I read to you in Deuteronomy 5. This is Deuteronomy 1. So you know how the books and the writings are all not in order. See, a lot of people need to understand that. You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of Amorites and unto the palaces near thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south, and by the seaside to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yah swore unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See, that was the promise given unto them past us, to receive the land, swear unto our fathers, to give unto them and to their seed after them. The covenants were separate, given to us, but the promise was the same. A lot of people don't understand it. And I spake unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear myself alone. But Moses is speaking to the people, family. Yah, your God, hath multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven, for multitude. Yah, your father of your fathers, make you 1,000 times so many more as you are, and bless you. And he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear you, cumbrance, and your burden, and your strife? So Moses speaking to the people like, how can I do these things? Take you wise men. So he's speaking unto them. He said, take you wise men, and understanding, and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And you answered me and said, the thing which you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man his neighbor. See, they don't know this law, because even in the law itself, Moses told them to judge between themselves. So they come up, they judging, breaking down laws themselves of understanding, of their own wisdom and understanding. Because Moses teaches them the commandments. So out of the commandments, he's also breaking down them laws as such, how to live by it. That's why the laws are added, because it's like people, a lot of them were so dumbfounded and crazy for coming out of Egypt. They didn't understand how to fulfill these laws. They were built up with so much lust and uncleanness. Moses telling them, and I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously. No, see what Moses told them to do? Hear the cause between your brethren. What's going on between them and their households, brothers and sisters, your neighbors, how they fighting among. Somebody may stole something, somebody may hurt somebody. And judge righteously between every man and his brother. See, he said judge according to Moses' law or none of these things because they're building a law. That's what a lot of people don't understand through the story. They're building a law. That's why they came under one consent unto the law. But I just summed it up for you. I'm showing you what they're doing. And the stranger that is with him. So even the stranger, they would judge between that stranger. Then they must judge righteously, family, because he tell you, you shall not respect persons in judgment. You should have no favor in somebody because you like them better or you know them more. You got to judge about the cause. But you shall hear the small as well as the great. You don't judge nobody because he's rich, the guy's poor, so you say the rich man is right. So you hear the cause of the small and the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is yours. See, they don't know the law of Moses because they don't know how the law is made and what is taught. The law is broken down from the commandments. Some of the things were added, but we'll see. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me. So he said, if this judgment is too hard for you to do, you don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to judge this cause between what they have done. Moses said, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. And I commanded you at that time and all the things which you should do. So this is the building of the law, family. This is not the commandments. The commandments are given by the angels of Yah, the messenger, written on tables of stone, given unto Moses. Then we get to Exodus 18, because Exodus 18 ties into what's going on in Deuteronomy 1 and 5. We're going to see a similar event happening, but it's going to give us a name. It says, and Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for Yah. And Aaron came, and all the elders of Yasharal to eat bread with Moses, father-in-law, before Yah. So he's making sacrifices unto Yah. That means they're killing an animal and they're about to have a cookout. And they're doing it before Yah because they're giving praises unto Yah for what he done to Moses and our people. So that's what it means by the sacrifices. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that you doest to the people? Why sittest you yourself alone? And all the people stand by from you from morning until evening. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Yah. He said, they come unto me to look for this judgment, to figure out what they should do. They want to know about Yah. And when their personal things going on in their lives, I got to judge between them. So they said, when they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them know the statutes of Yah and his laws. See, this is what Moses tell him. I do teach him about Yah's statutes and his laws. So he teach him about the commandments when they come unto him. And Moses finally said to him, this thing that you do is not good. You will surely wear away both you and this people that is with you. For this thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to form it yourself alone. Hearken now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and Yah shall be with you. Be you for the people to God's word. So this is Moses' father-in-law Jethro that said this. that you may bring the causes unto Yah, and you shall teach them ordinances. So his father-in-law Jethro told Moses, you shall teach the people ordinances. So you're going to find ordinances written in the law because it was not what y'all don't understand the law yet until you become a master of the law like Paul was also. And you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. So Yah gave the commandments. Now Moses, his father-in-law, his counselor, showing him how he's supposed to orchestrate this. That he need to give them ordinances, laws, duty, like these duties, because they're going to work and things they must do. So he's setting up things, duties and work laws, and judgments between them. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yah, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. See, I showed you the same instance going on in Deuteronomy 1. But you see in Exodus 18 teaches you Jethro, his father-in-law, broke him down these such events also. That's what this scribe is teaching us. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you. So all the great matters, like they may have come up with death. Somebody may have to be killed. They may have done some pedophilia, all the wickedest stuff. Raping. They would have to bring this unto Moses because it's a great charge. But every all matter they shall judge. So it shall be easy for yourself, and they shall heal the burden with you. So we see that the people that set up as judges over each other, they would judge these matters. They judge these matters according to righteousness. That's how it is, because they ain't no law of Moses. All they have is the commandments of Yah, and they're building laws. They came to a holy consent and created laws. So we got the law of Moses. But they called it Tanakh or the Torah, but they don't understand Moses didn't write them 5 books, put them together. The scribes wrote them. We don't have the original first accounts of what Moses was writing. The scribes wrote all the accounts even through history. Ezra recompiled the Torah. The scribes after Ezra until our time. Then we're dealing with translators also. But what we see, we're taught that we was supposed to judge the matters over each other and the people. Us that was set at a higher rank on such position. That's why you see the brothers Aisha, PK, IUIC, such of these camps, Zakari, Jim, said they did these such things because they know this is written in the Torah. But they still try to bring you into bondage of the law because they didn't even know the law yet. All we got is commandments. The law is being created and built up throughout these books we're reading because Moses didn't write the books. The scribes wrote the books. And these are things going on even a year and 2 years after we even come up out of Egypt. People are living, going through such things, sinning over and over through the wilderness. The book tells you that. But they're not reading it. They're just giving you precepts to give you a doctrine. If you shall do this thing, and Yah command you so, then you shall be able to endure. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. You see this? We go to Exodus 24, right? It says, so Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law. So Moses listened to his father-in-law. He was obedient unto him. Remember, he's a priest. A Midianite. They come from the seed of Abraham, who praised Yah. I mean, they serve the same God. That's what's crazy. A lot of people understand we all serve the same God and through these time periods. Many of them branch off to serve idols and other gods because some of them get conquered or some of them just fall into idolatry. But so Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. So Moses set up laws and ordinances according to his father-in-law, Jethro. They put things together. They set up other men. They gave them judgments and things of such that they should do for the people. How to live a community, that we may have peace and order among each other. Moses doing it all by himself. He was telling him he was going to overwhelm himself. That was a great burden. You need help. You need order. So use righteous men. They hated covetousness, men of truth. So he chose those men. And Moses chose able men out of all Yasharal and made them heads over the people. Rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s. and rulers of tens, and they judge the people at all seasons. See? And they judge the peoples at all seasons. What they judging them according to? Their own judgments that they're learning from the commandments, and by wisdom and righteousness, hating covetousness. They're keeping the commandments. So they're having that wisdom, that spirit of wisdom, knowledge and understanding of how to walk with Yah. Pay attention. The hard causes, they brought them to Moses. So the cause was too hard. That means they didn't want to put this person to death. They didn't know what to do. Let's take it to Moses. Let them do it. But every small matter, they judge themselves. See, we're reading that same account in Deuteronomy 5. But in Exodus 18, it tells us it's Jethro, the father-in-law. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. So we know that they come together, put laws together and ordinances. They already had the commandments of Yah. The scribes wrote the books. And I missed something. Yeah, the scribes wrote the book. So a lot of these people, they crazy when they own such, and they look at the New Testament. They're looking, they don't say thus says Yah, but the people who you're reading about didn't write the books. Scribes wrote the books. It didn't say thus says Yah when most of these scribes started copying the books. They're telling you the Lord came to such and this and that. I know the such accounts because the prophets are eyewitness accounts telling you what such laws and things Yah did provide. Or they'll jump in and tell you what wasn't supposed to be put in there. They're looking for thus says Yah, but it didn't say thus says Yah in the beginning. The scribes put most of them things. But let's go to Galatians 3:19. Wherefore then serveth the law? That's why they talking about the law, because I'm teaching you about the law. The scribes put the law together. Oral tradition. Ezra's compiled Torah, visions, thoughts. He had scribes. Later on, after Ezra's time, later scribes had to continue to keep the Torahs because these tablets would wear out. That's why you find them in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They had tablets compiling them. They keep copying. They kept copying Torah. You're going to keep finding these things. This is what the scribes do. Wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgressions. It was added because they didn't understand the commandments. So simple. They kept breaking more laws and stuff. Like people get weak. Oh, I don't see that in the commandments. It's in the commandments. Each commandment, so many of the laws Moses written down, it unfolds out of each one of those commandments. But the people thought they were wicked enough to, it don't say it, I can get around it. So Moses had to literally write these things in so that people know this is what it means. So they continue to have to add laws. The people just continue to be wicked more and more. It was added because of transgressions. Till the seed should come, whom the promise was made. So it's waiting on the word to come, the one that walked the law, to show us how it's really supposed to be done. And it was ordained by angels. So it was ordained by messengers, family, in the hand of a mediator. The law Moses got. It was ordained by messengers. That was in the hand of a mediator. We had a mediator. Moses was also a mediator. You can even say the angels or the messengers are mediators too. But Isaiah 51:4. Because this is where I get crazy and nonsense about the law, because it's no debate about the law when they're hollering about the law. Because we literally see the law is prophesied to come. Isaiah 51:4 says, hearken unto me, my people. He's telling his people to listen to him. They won't. And give ear unto me, O my nation. For a law shall proceed from me. Now you have the law of Moses that the scribes put together. But he's telling you in Isaiah that a law is coming. So they had Yahushua when the Old Testament continued to prophesy such things. It told us, for a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. Now see, I told y'all this game they play. See, you say people there, but when you get in 42, they're going to use the word Gentiles. I told you that word means people also, because this is translators doing a lot of these things at this time now, but the scribes started it. But the translators are doing these such words in the English. They know that that word didn't mean no other nations of people. It means heathens, pagans, and people. They know that. It's up here already. It says it. So when you get down here and it says Gentiles, it's talking about the same people in 51. And I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people, for a law of the people. So a law was prophesied to come in Isaiah, and it was going to rest for a law of the people. Now these people were Jews and the uncircumcised, because you get Isaiah 42. It's going to say Gentiles instead of people this time, which you're talking about the uncircumcision, the scattered. You guys, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Isaiah 42. He says, behold my servant, whom I uphold, my elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment unto the Gentiles. See, it's a people up here, but uncircumcised. We know who it is already. Paul taught us that. The whole book teaches us that. It's the uncircumcision. Zebulun, the Galilee of the Gentiles. Zebulun. He shall not cry nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. So he was coming to bring forth words, speaking the words of spirit, truth, and righteousness. He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he hath set judgment in the earth. And the isle shall wait for his law. So it's dead. It's not even a debate about the law. When you get into these brothers keep arguing about the law. The prophets are prophesying about a law coming. I understand why they're speaking against such things of we're not serving the law or serving the letter. Of course. The prophets told us that Yah was bringing another law. He didn't really say even there was another law. He said his servant was bringing a law. It was a Messiah bringing a law. And many signs were coming. He said a Messiah was bringing forth the law and judgment to the nations or the uncircumcised. Up here said rest for a law of the people, light of the people. It's going to say it down here, but watch. And the isles shall wait for his law. So we have prophecy that a law was coming that kills any Old Testament doctrine of law. This says Yah, he that created the heavens. So we know who said this. And stretched them out. He that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it. He that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. So the one that's clarifying these things that he said, his servant was going to bring forth the law and judgment unto the uncircumcision and of the whole world too, because that's what it was going to be to the uncircumcised, and then it would bring light forth unto the world from us. The isle is going to wait for this law. This is Yah. It says, I, Yah, have called you in righteousness, and will hold your hand, and will keep you, and give you for a covenant of the people. You see that, family? He was going to be a covenant for us. The Jews, the circumcised, and the uncircumcised. The covenant of the people. For a light of the Gentiles. Remember, I just read to you Isaiah 51:4. It said to rest for a light of the people. So they used the word people instead. So this is what the translators are doing to trick you up on doctrines that the Christian scholars put in them. Yeah, other nations will be saved. It tell you that in Revelations. But it never makes them these people here. These people are the uncircumcised. So he will be for a law of the uncircumcised. He will bring a law forth unto them, a judgment unto them. For all the people of Yasharal, even unto the world. But it will come through us first. Those of the Jew religion, those uncircumcised Israelites scattered. And then it would then come forth unto the world. Isaiah 51:7, he said, hearken unto me, you that know righteousness. The people in whose heart is my law. Didn't Jeremiah prophesy that? Jeremiah 31. Didn't Paul speak of this also? Saying that these uncircumcised Israelites, them keeping the law without having it, was showing that the law was written in their hearts. Showing us that we were inside of that new covenant. Without a doubt. That's where many of you have that law in your heart. Because you are that scattered Gentile Israelite. Unless you are that Israelite Jew, like many of our brothers in Africa. They were born under the laws of Moses, the religion of Moses. Of course, it's a religion because we're literally hearing from the prophets telling us that a Messiah will bring forth a law. But remember, many of our brothers in Africa, some of them, they reject the Messiah. Y'all can look these things up. We got brothers over there that interview them all the time. They believe these things. They tell you they always been the circumcised Israelites. They always been a Jew. They say they forgot many of their languages, but they kept the laws of Moses. Circumcision, a lot of the customs, they kept it. But a lot of them were rejecting us because we were scattered. They're looking at us as Gentiles, the uncircumcised, those that are not under the law of Moses. He said he was going to rest for a law of the people. And I will keep you and give you for a covenant of the people, for a light of the uncircumcised. He said Gentiles, uncircumcised Israelites, which is most of you that have been scattered in the transatlantic slave trade. The cats been teaching you false doctrine. You go to Africa right now and you'll find the Jews that are still under the Jew religion. They wasn't broken from that custom. Fear you not the reproach of men, neither be you afraid of their revilings. John 1:17, for the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Hamashiach Yahushua, which was written in the law. We were waiting on Yahushua Hamashiach. The Isles were waiting for his law. The uncircumcision were waiting for his law. The Hellenized Jews waiting for his law. John 1:14, and the word was made flesh. That word, he was Torah, and dwelt among us. It was the law to come, the covenant of the people. And we beheld his glory, the glory as the only begotten of the Father. What he was, full of grace and truth. That's why it came by him. Galatians 6:2, bear you one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Hamashiach. Why he's speaking of the law of Christ? So they say the law of him. But Yahushua got a law. Of course, I just read in Isaiah 51. There will be a Messiah bringing a law. Yah says out of his own mouth, the one who created the heavens and the earth. He verified it himself that a Messiah was coming to bring forth law. That wasn't to destroy the law of Moses or none of that. Because most of the law of Moses are righteous laws indeed. You keep them. But there was things in there that wasn't right that people don't know about because they don't study the law. John 7:16, Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine. So the law of Yahushua is not his, but his that sent me. Why? Because Yahushua kept telling us about keep the commandments. The same thing Moses received, the covenant Deuteronomy 5, that was going to bring you salvation. Went by no other law. But now, this is Romans 3:21. But now the righteousness of Yah without the law is manifest, witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of Yah, which is by faith of Hamashiach Yahushua. So you got faith Yahushua is the one prophesied Isaiah 51, the one prophesied Isaiah 42, the one that was going to bring forth that law for the scattered Israelites that were alienated from the covenant and the promises, hated by their brethren, the Jews' religion. Even the righteousness of Yah, which is by faith of Hamashiach Yahushua, unto all and upon all of them that believe. But there is no difference. Because remember, a lot of them still hate us to today. But a lot of them are coming back to it. They're understanding this, that they got to love us and accept us also that was scattered, that was no longer under the customs that they continued under. And the problem is a lot of the camps teaching as if they was the Jews still under the religion of Moses when they're not. So they got a lot of the other brothers fueled at it that overseas. Hebrews 3:3. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses. Yahushua was counted more glory than Moses. They hate this. Moses brought covenant and law from Yah. Yahushua came to reestablish that covenant because it comes from the everlasting covenant. It's written in Deuteronomy 5. Inasmuch as he who buildeth the house hath more honor than the house. Romans 8:1. Therefore, is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. So that you got to keep law if you're walking after the spirit, family. For the law of the spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushua have made me free from the law of sin and death. Because they was abusing the law, the written law that Moses gave them. They weren't keeping the commandments as they were supposed to. They just went off the written law and didn't even follow the whole written law. Galatians 3:11. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of Yah. They took out the written letter because the scribes put it back together. And throughout the time period, the priests been over playing that game with it. They've been sinning, profaning the law. It is evident for the just shall live by faith. If you're living by faith, you have to keep law. You have to keep the commandments. And the law is not of faith. See that, family? And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. You see that? The law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. That's why I say faith and works go hand in hand. Hamashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law. Remember, we were broken away from the covenant. Many of our Israelite brothers and sisters, definitely us. So we was under that curse of the law. So being made a curse for us, for it is written, curses everyone that hangeth on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles, see, on the uncircumcised. So them scattered Israelites, us being alienated from the promises, hated by our other brothers and sisters around the world. They kept these customs. They look at us as Gentiles. That the blessing of Abraham, and what that blessing was, that blessing is faith. Abraham was chosen by faith. His covenant of circumcision came by obedience after. Might come on the Gentiles, uncircumcised, through Yahushua HaMashiach, that we, you see when he said on the Gentiles, through Yahushua HaMashiach, the very next line he tell you that we. So he categorized himself as the Gentile, which we know he is circumcised, but he's speaking of his heart of not following after Yahushua at the time period. But he converted himself over to Yahushua and the law of Mashiach. That's what Paul was doing. He was converting over to the Torah. The Torah taught of the lawgiver from Deuteronomy 17, from Deuteronomy 18, Isaiah 51, Isaiah 42. It all continued to prophesy the lawgiver coming. So Paul was righteous. He had to follow the lawgiver. Most OTs and Tanakh only, they don't follow Torah because they don't follow the lawgiver. They follow the scribes who wrote the letters. Give me 1 second, fam. Okay, family. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the uncircumcised Israelites through Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. So he categorized himself in the same verse 14. And we see that, we also know that's in Habakkuk, but the just shall live by his faith. This ain't nothing Paul was making up, or none of Paul's disciples, or none of the ones he had teaching with him also. These things are Old Testament writings, prophesied to come. And you ain't just, remember it says the just shall live by faith. A wicked man ain't just. A wicked man that eats abominable foods and does abominable things is not just. So we know the just shall live by faith. That's a righteous man, seeking righteousness, walking in the spirit of the law. See, they overlook what those words mean. These people that keep law within themselves, walking in spirit. Matthew 5:18, he says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. See, he ain't say the commandments because nothing ain't passing from the commandments. That's forever. To all be fulfilled. So there's prophecies written in the law about him. Remember, the 5 books is not just the law that's put together by scribes. The scroll is divided within the law and throughout the whole Bible, actually. It said to all be fulfilled. We get to Matthew 11:12. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violence take it by force. So we're looking up here and we see him talk about to heaven and earth pass. He's not literally talking about the heavens, the heavenly world, none of these such things pass. He's talking about the rulership and the age of them being in the land and the age when it passed. That's why he told us that from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence. And the violence taken by force. See, this heaven was going to pass away for them. It was already being taken by violence and force. Luke 21:22 told us, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. So this is what was going to happen. They didn't understand what he was speaking of. No jot, no tittle pass from the law. To all be fulfilled. The things had to be fulfilled. Now, all the prophecies ain't in the law. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Most of the prophecies you find in the law are written throughout the prophets. He's speaking of particular things written. That's why for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down. They say Gentiles said, but it's talking about nations, because it told us up the line before was going captive into all nations. That's because other nations was coming in to take us captive, until the times of the nations be fulfilled. Verse 32, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away, to all be fulfilled. Now we know that was a present prophecy, and we know we got a proof of future prophecy dealing with this particular line of speech. But in this instance, what we're going over is what he was teaching them. This generation shall not pass away, to all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. So remember, Matthew 11:12, heaven was being taken by force. We're talking about Jerusalem, them, the things were going on. Luke 21 told them these were those days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Verse 32 told them this generation wasn't going to pass to all be fulfilled. They were dealing with 70 AD. Heaven and earth shall pass away. He wasn't talking about the spiritual heaven or such things or none of that. He was talking about the rulership and the land and that age. But my words shall not pass away. So all that stuff, it passed away. They died thousands of years later. We're here. His words prophesied to be true. They didn't pass away. We're still here talking about him now. We know he's a true prophet of Yah. So many heavens and earth ages and rulerships have passed. His words haven't passed. Matthew 19:7. They said to him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said to them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffereth you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. We might be showing y'all this stuff because we get verification that from Yahushua showing us Moses then wrote the law. Not the commandments. They didn't write the commandments. I already showed you that holy man, Solomon told us. They came together, and we're partakers of this. But Yahushua have come, the lawgiver. prophesied in Isaiah 51 and 42. He told them because of the hardness of their heart. So Moses gave them this law. You know it says, thus says Yah, when you go into the book right before you even get to these laws. But Moses gave them this law. Remember, because the scribe put the books together. He did it because their hearts, their minds, they were stubborn, sinners, stiff-necked, didn't want to listen. So he wrote this law and gave it. He put this extra law in there. Moses knew it wasn't supposed to be that way, but because of the people, he did it like that. And I said to you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commit adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doth commit adultery. See, that's why you got to be a master of the law to understand the law. But Yahushua, most definitely a master of the law because he was the lawgiver. The word gave the law. Those spirits through his temple. That's how the messenger gave the commandments unto Moses. Because he the one that had those commandments gave by the messenger unto Moses was the word of Yah. That word came back, that same lawgiver. Walked in the flesh of man. Man, the lawgiver. So a lot of people don't understand that. He said that whosoever marry her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. He spoke fact. We go back to Deuteronomy 24 and 1. We're going to the law. We see when a man had taken a wife and married her, and it came to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes because he had found some uncleanness in her. So he done married this woman. This man probably been having sex with her many of times. Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. That's adultery. Yahushua 100% fact correct. Moses gave them that law because their hearts were hard. But he gave them other laws, their hearts were hard. But this was a problem here, though. He shouldn't have gave them that law because that's adultery. And whosoever marrieth her which is put away, that's commit adultery. This man been sleeping with this woman. Now he found something unclean in her. You got to get up out of here. Wrote a letter of divorce. And in the law, she was allowed to go find another man, be his wife. So she now is committing adultery. Or the man is committing adultery. It said, and whosoever marrieth her which is put away, that's commit adultery. So the lady was allowed in the law to go find another husband, which is committing adultery on that man. So we know Yahushua had to correct these things, teaching them well, because he the lawgiver. He knows such things not supposed to be in there. Most of the law of Moses is righteous. It's just certain things in the law that weren't supposed to be there. When you become a master of the law, you find it out because the prophets all spoke of it. It's a clear fact here. There's no argument against this. We know that's adultery. I didn't even have to read what Yahushua said. You just read Deuteronomy 24 and know that's adultery. John 6:2. Then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven. See, they hate that. That's why a lot of them hate Yahushua. Moses ain't give you the bread from Yah, from the Most High. The commandments he got from the Most High Yah. All the stuff that Moses brought to you didn't get from the Most High Yah. Moses was very smart and intelligent. Acts 7:22, watch this. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and in deeds. So when you hear about Moses was scared to speak to Pharaoh, they say he was illiterate. Acts tell us Moses was mighty in words. This man was great in speaking. Ain't nothing wrong with him speaking his words. Moses didn't want to do what he was supposed to do then. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Y'all raising everybody up as if they're God. I love Moses. I love all the prophets. But you got to understand what the wisdom is telling. We are the children of Yah. We are his vessels. The word dwells in us, the Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth, to bring forth truth. But Moses, he learned all the stuff in Egypt. Just like in America, he went to the best. Moses in a high position. He went to the best schools, knew the best science level things. He knew the foods you were not supposed to eat. You know what? Foods are bad for your health. Like in America, we go into the sciences and read about these animals. We see the pig hole most definitely. We see why Moses putting in the law. Moses was so studied in these things. We understand these things hurt your mind, your body, and souls. So when the word gave Moses his wisdom, we understand why it's put there. So it's things you ain't going to take out. We know they're supposed to be there. But everything that's in there wasn't supposed to be there, as I just showed you in the previous slide. There's things in the law that add it. But that's why Moses gave you not the bread out from heaven. The commandments were, but all the laws with the holy man put together, most of that stuff is righteous. But he's telling you it wasn't from heaven. It wasn't from the wisdom of Yah. Moses learned in the wisdom of the Egyptians. He was smart just like many of y'all learned in the wisdom of the Americans or the Britons or the Africans or the whatever country you're in. You learned in the wisdom of their schools. Mighty in their words and deeds. You know all about their gods and their languages and such. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. So they want this bread. Oh, I ain't even read the other verse. Yahweh shall say unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of Yah is he which cometh down from heaven. That was the word, that wisdom. The seven spirits of Yah come down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. This spirit gives life unto the world, family, showing them the true righteous way of walking and living. Then said they to him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. They want this food, the spiritual food. And Yahweh shall said unto them, I am the bread of life. He said, man, I am that bread of life. I'm that wisdom of life, that knowledge of life and understanding. He that cometh to me shall never hunger. You come to me and learn from what I'm teaching you. The Father's telling me to teach you. Because the spirits in me are the word that been from the beginning, that brought the commandments to the messengers to give to Moses. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I said unto him, that you also have seen me and believe not, and that the Father giveth me shall come to me. So who the Father raises up with his spirit, it's going to come to the Messiah, knowing what he really taught you. That way he said, when you rightly divide the word of truth, you ain't got to be ashamed. You can let them fall on their own swords because they ain't going to be able to argue against it. But I say unto you that you also have seen me and believe not, and that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will no wise cast out. For I came down from heaven, not to do my own will. So the word, those spirits of Yah, they didn't come down to heaven to do their own personal agenda, but the will of him that sent me. They came to do the will of the Father, to put things in order, to bring judgment, showing the world what was to come upon it, to show us what was the glory that we would receive if we followed in his word, his words, walked in his spirit, serve Yah, walk with Yah. We see John 7:22. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision. How was I speaking? Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses. So it wasn't given in the commandments of Moses by the messengers or the finger of Yah, but of the fathers. See, I'm doing a short breakdown tonight. I go into the deep breakdown to show you all the traditions that was passed down from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob before we ever get to Moses and the law coming together. The commandments of Yah, the laws of the Holy Man, and we are partakers of that law. But Mashiach has come because we have been broken from the covenant, scattered from the law, broken from the customs. As the uncircumcised, according to our brothers and sisters around the world today. If many of y'all really did your studies, you would know these things. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision. Who gave it to Moses? Not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers. What that mean? That means tradition. Why? Deuteronomy 5 covenant said, our covenant is to keep the commandments of Yah. So a lot of people thought they cut their foreskin and you got salvation. You're out your mind. Moses himself told you that. Moses gave it as a law unto the women that they would do this unto the children because we kept it as a custom among our people as a memorial. And that was great because that we found among our people using these things through historical scholarship, archaeology, and things of such of migration pattern. But we see half the other people in the world doing it too, which throws things off also because they believe you're going to get salvation by it. I'm not teaching you you're not supposed to do it, so don't get it wrong. I'm just showing you what it's telling you. Not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers. So it's passed down by tradition. It wasn't the covenant. It wasn't the commandments of Yah. And you on the Shabbat day circumcise a man. If a man on the Shabbat day receives circumcision, that the law of Moses, not the law of the Most High Yah, because Yahushua know this ain't Yah's law. He just told you it was a tradition passed by the fathers. Moses told you that in Deuteronomy 5, what the commandments was Yah gave us. So we know it was passed. It was of the fathers. Tradition. It's tradition. It's common sense, fam. Tradition. It's not even in the covenant. It don't get you salvation. The commandments gonna get you salvation. And y'all don't want to keep them. And do everything but keep the commandments. If a man on the Shabbat day receives circumcision, that the law of Moses, not the law of Yah, the law of Moses should not be broken. Are you angry at me? Because I have made a man every whit whole on the Shabbat day. So he's saying, my healings, my teachings, I'm making people whole. And I'm doing it on the Shabbat day for what I just did to this man. Y'all upset at me? But you trying to keep the law of Moses? When the scriptures prophesied the lawgiver was coming throughout the prophets, it literally said the man was bringing law, the law. We're waiting on his law. I guess people can't read. They just overlook that it's prophesied. It's prophesied. But they hate that because they serve the letter. They don't serve Yah. They serve the scribes who put the books together. Scribes wrote the books. I know who wrote the books. Matthew 15. Then came Yahushua. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Yerushalayim, saying, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? See, they follow many traditions. I just showed you one that we kept, but that's not that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about washing hands. For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandments of Yah by your tradition? Look what he brought up. Yahushua, the commandments of Yah given to Moses, the covenant, Deuteronomy 5, family. This is what's going to get you salvation. Walking in this. And that law should be in your heart. We're in the new covenant. We're just waiting on prophecy to continue to be fulfilled. For Yah commanded, saying, honor your father and mother. And he that curses the father or mother, let him die the death. So he lets us know he's talking about the covenant of Deuteronomy 5, the commandments of Yah. We know who this came from, Yah. Jeremiah 7:21. This kills a lot of people doctrine. Definitely OTs. This says Yah of hosts, the father of Yasharal. Put your burnt offerings unto your sacrifices and eat flesh. He was upset with them, family, when he said something like that. For I spake not unto your fathers. Let me read that again. For I spake, I'm going to read it slow. For I spake not unto your fathers. All OT not only need to listen, even camp Israelites, all our brothers in the camps, because they still teaching the nonsense. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifice. This ain't no New Testament concept. They didn't bring this up. It's in the New Testament, but they had like the New Testament just threw that in there. The prophet Jeremiah literally telling you. The Most High did not tell us this. We know this because it was not in our covenant. This when the holy men came together and put laws together. That's why the Most High kept telling Moses, why you keep sinning in the wilderness and got these people sinning? All this other stuff, but you ain't keeping the Shabbat. You ain't doing what I told you to do. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings, sacrifices. So he sent Jeremiah to tell y'all this. He sent the prophets to teach y'all, to correct us, to correct the elders. But this thing commanded I them, saying, this is what he commanded us. Obey my voice. Remember I read that? I read that too in Exodus and Deuteronomy. This is what he said. Obey my voice, and I will be your father, and you shall be my people, and walk you in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. He gave us his commandment. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear, but walk in the counsels and in the imaginations of their evil heart. So they walked in their own counsels that they wanted to do. They took forth their own imaginations in their evil minds and went backward and not forward. Since the day, look what he says, since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt. And see how crazy that is, what I was telling you? He said, since the day I brought y'all up out of Egypt until this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets. Now you seeing why I'm bringing up Jeremiah, why I keep telling y'all about all these prophets? The prophets are teaching y'all the law. Yahushua was the lawgiver to come. The scribes put not was put by the scribes. There's not the first accounts of Moses. The scribes put this stuff together. They still don't understand yet. They looking for thus says Yah. When Yah didn't even say half this stuff. We know what Yah said. All the prophets. You gotta have 2 to 3 witnesses. They don't do this. You must find your witnesses. Jeremiah, another witness. Tell us Yah did not command this nonsense that they're doing, sacrificing for sins and all this such nonsense when they came out of Egypt. They put that in the law, though. It's in there. Go look. But you know what Jeremiah said? The Most High didn't command this. They put that there. We know this because the holy men came together, as I showed you, wisdom of Solomon told y'all. Y'all ain't listening to what wisdom teaching. But this thing I commanded them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be their father, and you shall be my people, and walk you in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. I read all this. Let me jump back down. This day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets. So go back to all the prophets since they left Egypt and see what they've been teaching y'all. They're going to keep telling you that the priesthood's been corrupted. Such things ain't supposed to be in there. They've been doing things they're not supposed to be doing. But then you go back to the law and look for some of those things. But then, touching the law, you see all the righteous works that were actually supposed to be in the law. I'm saying the law that Moses and the other elders put together, it's full of righteousness. But you find some of that stuff that shouldn't be in there because the priesthood kept adding stuff. So he sent all his servants, the prophets, daily, rising up early and sending them. You know why he sent all these prophets? Why he sent all these prophets, family? Because nothing was right from the jump. Nothing was going on right. Our people weren't doing right, still continued to sin, weren't keeping the commandments of Yah. They walked in their own counsels, came up with their own judgments. Yet they hearkened not unto me, nor inclined their ear, but hardened their neck. They did worse than their fathers. So from the day from Egypt all the way on up, our people got worse and worse. Therefore, you shall speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken unto you. He said, man, they ain't going to listen to you. I'm telling you to go tell them that they ain't been doing nothing right. Since they came out of Egypt, they've been doing it wrong. But you know what? They ain't going to listen to you. You shall also call unto them, but they will not answer you. So they ain't finna answer when you call unto them. Tell them, they don't want to hear it. But you shall say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of Yah, their father. See, they don't obey since the jump. Yah told us, all I commanded them was to obey my voice. He's going to be our father. Allah. Some say Allah. Yah, our father. Nor receiveth correction. Let me go back. This is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of Yah, nor receiveth correction. You know what all the prophets came to do? They came to correct everything going on. But you know what? Nobody don't want to receive the correction that the prophets gave. They keep running back to the letter. After Moses is dead and gone, Joshua dead and gone, they wrote a copy of the law, which is separate from the 5 books. The 5 books are put together by these scribes, literally. They cannot prove you without a doubt. They can't give you no first-hand account from Moses. None of these people writing these books because the books itself tell you the scribes wrote them. The scribes give you narration, and then throughout time you get some of your narration you get from translators. It literally tells you in the book who's writing these things. Literally told you Ezra's had to recompile the Torah because they went and destroyed the temples, took the tablets, broke them, destroyed them, stole half of them. So they do got pieces of some of them. He said when he sent the prophets into them, they didn't want to receive correction. Truth is perished and it's cut off from their mouth. It's cut off from their mouth because they stiff-necked hardhead. They've been brainwashed by the Jewishers and all the other Christianity that what y'all speaking out, they don't see it. They see worship of men. 2 Ezra 7 and 11. Because for their sakes, they talking about Yasharallah. I made the world. See, for our sakes, he already had this planned out. His priesthood, his people. Before he made the world, he already set it up for the priesthood that would bring forth his word on this earth. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now was done. He gave Adam statutes. He gave him commandments, laws. You know this. Before we ever get the law of Moses, I'm not against the law of Moses. People don't quite get it. I'm trying to teach people that some of that stuff is written by the scribes. All the books are. The whole Bible is written by the scribes and then by the translators. But a lot of what you see, thus says Yah, it wasn't thus says Yah. That's why he also spoke a lion pen and the scribes. But it gets deeper. We already had statutes and laws that he gave the statutes to Adam. He gave him the decree. Genesis 6 and 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man. You see that? You see why I say a just man shall live by faith? Because a just man walking in laws. And perfect in his generations because he keeps laws and commandments of Yah. And Noah walked with Yah. That means he kept his commandments. Whenever they walk with Yah, they're keeping Yah's commandments, keeping his charge. Just like we see Genesis 26 and 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice. That's what he told us to do. He said, all I wanted y'all to do is to obey my voice and do what is righteous. He said, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Now, what Torah you had? You telling me Moses came before Abraham now? For all these crazies out there. The laws of Yah already was there. They already been here. His commandments. Moses gave you the tablets from Yah, from his messengers. The written law was put together by the priesthood, the righteous men. We know this. I read it. And majority of those laws are righteous and just. Even Jethro had Moses put together ordinances. People don't quite get it. We're supposed to keep the Shabbat. You understand what the commandments are of Yah? Abraham obeyed his voice. He followed after righteousness, did what is just. He didn't worship idols. He seeked the Most High. He looked for the one that created all things. He looked for the one that created all things. He's not looking for a statue that he got to carry out of a temple when the temple on fire. The idol can't even save itself. See, he knew God was spirit. He knew the Father was spirit. So he kept his commandments. He wasn't a liar, a thief, a murderer. See, you got to understand that. My statutes and my laws, he kept those things. Before the descendant, who we know as Moses, one of our ancestors, come along. Moses gave them the letter of the law. Moses gave them the commandments and the letter of the law. These 5 books, they put together by scribes. See, this ain't what Moses them had. Joshua copied the law of Moses, which was on tablets. This wasn't no books, no 5 books. Moses didn't write the 5 books. The scribes wrote the 5 books. I literally was showing you that already. You can see Moses dead in one of the books that the scribe is writing. He told you that Moses told him that he came with a fiery law in his right hand. Yah sent him. See, people don't understand this because they worship the letter. They worship scribes. Don't even know it's the scribes. Philippians 3 and 6, it said, concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching righteousness, which is in the law. See, Paul did a lot of these things when he persecuted the church. But he was teaching you something when he said, touching the righteousness, which is in the law. Because he know the things that were added to the law by Pharisees, priesthoods. They were using traditions as laws. So a lot of things you see when y'all become a master of law, you'll find out that was a tradition. It wasn't even a law. It was a tradition added. Psalms 119 and 18. Open you mine eyes. He said, open up my spirit that I may see. That I may behold wondrous things out of your law. See, these New Testament books, they ain't just coming up with this stuff and making it up. He said in the Old Testament that to show us wondrous things out of his law, how to walk in it. Because people never understood the law. I kept teaching y'all that before. When you read all these books of Psalms and what David them started saying, he said, show me your law. They already got the law of Moses. What these guys worshiping at. They know that's not what he was talking about. Because Micah 6 and 8 told you also. He said, he has showed you, oh man, what is good and what does Yah require of you. Now, let's ask him what Yah requires of you from this prophet. He says, remember, they also credit Ezra for writing Micah. I think it's Micah. But to do justly, what Yah require of you, man and woman, but to do justly and to love mercy. You got to love mercy. That means you must have mercy upon others. And to walk humbly with your God, your Father Yah. Walking humbly. That's walking righteousness. Being humble. Doing what is just. Seeking just causes a just judgment. It gets even deeper than that, family, but let's continue. Acts 15 and 18. Known unto Yah are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles. So the uncircumcised Israelites, they're among the other heathens. They are turned unto Yah. So when they are turned unto Yah, they told them, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols. So even the elders, when they came together, remember this wasn't Paul that gave them these laws, so they beat on Paul for nothing. The elders did this. James, Peter, all of them. It was among them. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. Now we got to understand when he speak of abstaining from pollutions of idols, that brings us back into the commandments. And fornication, that brings us into the moral laws, family. So it goes, that's why the law is our schoolmaster. So now if they're teaching us these things, the uncircumcised Israelite, he would have to go study things, abstain from pollutions of idols. So he would have to go into the commandments and other writings of the law of Moses. And from fornication, so he has to check into the moral laws and things of such, which a lot of these things are written in our hearts, so we know. And from the things strangled, so that would have to take the uncircumcised Gentile Israelite. He would have to go into the laws of dietary to go figure out a thing strangled. So then that he would learn, therefore, foods that are unclean and clean. So a lot of people don't quite get it why they tell them these things. And from blood. Because verse 21, for Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Shabbat day. So many of these brothers and sisters around, they're hearing these things already out of the law. They're hearing these things about Moses and what Moses taught. So what they do when they hear that this is the laws that the uncircumcision Israelites were given, they go to look for the commandments, which are the commandments of Yah. They go to look for the moral laws that you find written in the law of Moses. And they also go into the dietary law, dealing with things strangled and from blood. See, a lot of people don't quite understand that's what that means. They didn't have to go through everything that Moses put. Stuff in the law of Moses, not even for the people, it's for priests. See, if people know that, then you'll quite understand. But they don't have to deal with commandments, moral laws, and dietary laws. The uncircumcision Israelites, which is that's simple laws that should be in your heart already. But when you're dealing with dietary, that'll take you into the unclean and clean foods. Things strangled. That's why we see Leviticus 22 and 8. That which dieth of itself or is torn with beasts, he should not eat to defile himself. Therewith I am Yah. So they wouldn't have told them that unless they're telling you to go seek the dietary law. See, so the Israelites that were scattered, that are up under uncircumcision, your job is to keep the commandments, to study the moral laws, which should be in your heart. You should know moral things, but you go study them in the law of Moses, things that are moral. And the dietary law. You go seek the dietary law. And you go look up the sciences of this world and this kingdom. Just like Moses, he was studying the wise, he was studied greatly in the wisdom of the Egyptians. He knew the scientists. So you got Google now and all such. You can look up all these animals that are clean and unclean and see why you're not supposed to be eating them. And then when you get even deeper, you see even some of these other animals that are in there. You shouldn't be eating those either. I'm not going to name the animals until those that go study for themselves. Even animals you think you should be eating, you shouldn't be eating them. Acts 15:28. For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things, that you abstain from foods offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if you keep yourselves, you shall do well. Fare you well. So we will be accepted among our Israelite brothers that are under the religion of Jews. I ain't talking about the fake Jewish hat, small hats. I'm talking about the real Jews over in Africa. They're under the religion of the Jews, of Moses. They're supposed to accept us as a Gentile. See, a lot of y'all don't quite get that yet. Y'all made yourselves them, and they looking crazy over there at us. Unless you are and were born of the custom and just come over to America to hang out in Babylon, that is different. One of the Babylonian capitals. But there was no greater burden that the Holy Spirit gave upon them, that they should keep the commandments. Because they have to follow your house shot. You have to keep the commandments. You have to keep moral laws and dietary laws. See, that's why they pointed to that. So, but these churches and creation, they still try to tell you, because they seen such things, you got to keep dietary. But this literally pointed you to the dietary law. Isaiah 66:17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst. So there's people purifying themselves in the gardens, then other kingdoms and nations, behind one tree, behind peoples and communities and towns, hanging out. You know what they're doing? Eating swine's flesh. And the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, says Yah. So that's why the uncircumcised Israelites was pointed to the dietary law. And things strangled, things dying of themselves, defied of themselves. They were pointed there to show you, you still ain't supposed to eat these animals. They're abominable things. Isaiah 66:65. Why? I'm telling you this because we see the prophets are continuing to be witnesses and verifying the laws that were most definitely given. So they can run the law of Moses and run throughout the book, but we have 2 to 3 witnesses throughout the Bible keeps telling you this. So we go to Isaiah 65. And I sought of them that asked not for me. I have found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name. Y'all see that, family? A lot of people say, oh, Israel, Judah, scatter Israelites, Gentile Israelites, Northern Kingdom Israelites, and Hellenized Israelites. You know what? They weren't called. He said, behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. See, that's what they're doing, going after their own thoughts and own doctrines. A people that provoketh me to anger, continually to my face, that sacrifices in gardens, family. They among these people in these secret sanctuaries, going to the little temples, among these nations, and burneth incense upon altars of brick. Remember that custom, that tradition we were given? Since the time of Abraham to Jacob, even to Moses. He told Moses, when they built the altar, no whole stones. I mean, they used whole stones. They didn't cut it up, make an altar like you see in these churches and all these other places. They didn't do that. Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments. You know what they're doing? Which eat swine's flesh. It was crazy. It continued to bring up. Like my brother Elder Yara did that great presentation the other night. Family. dealing with swine and such, and the allegorical and metaphorical thoughts of it. But we also see it just continued to bring up that swine flesh. Because he just knew, even to today, the Israelites were stiff-necked, hard-headed. That was one of the foods they didn't want to give up. Just being real, it's just a food they don't give up, and it ain't even got to be that. It's in the law. It's throughout the prophets. They all are witness of this animal here for sure. They witness all I'm telling you about. You go into science right now, Google it. Go into these animals. You'll see why it's prophesied of these such animals. What they do to your brain, your mind. Definitely in the blood. You eat that blood, drink it. It gets into your blood system. You start receiving animalistic thoughts. Start becoming beastly. And broth of abominable things in their vessels. So if anybody thought even the uncircumcised Israelites, they were without law, no. Most definitely out of this world, you can't say they were going to be without law, any of us or any that's under this term. Why? Because you have to keep the law of Mashiach. You have to keep the commandments. You have to keep all the laws. I went over a video before on the laws Yahweh was speaking. He was telling you stuff in the Old Testament, well, what you weren't supposed to be doing, and was. We might have to redo that teaching again. Because he literally broke down laws. He gave laws. Most of them are the same laws you see in the Old Testament, but he corrected many of the laws. Because our brothers just hated each other so much that it just couldn't come together due to certain laws, which made them break the commandments of loving thy brother and loving your sister. So you have laws that were written in the law of Moses that contradicted that law and the commandments that would keep you going against your brothers, keep going against your sister, that would keep you in sin because you were able to go and sacrifice to cover up a sin. It wasn't commanded for that, but he let that slide. Jeremiah told you it wasn't commanded. So y'all can throw Jeremiah out. Y'all call like y'all go against your house shot. You had to go against Jeremiah. He told y'all what y'all be teaching is a lie. The prophets don't teach the stuff they teach. I think that's why I was going to end it at, family. Stop my screen. I'd like to give all praise to Heavenly Father. Who in the chat, family? Peace and blessings, Queen. Professor, lovely lady. Peace and blessings to my brother, Waterblue. Good to see you, brother. Peace and blessings to our brother, Dub. I know you came on here. Peace and blessings, brother Stephen Patrick. I know I sound a little tired tonight, family, but I still had to do one. Peace and blessings to my brother, Prince A9. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anybody want to come up and add anything or maybe had a question. Peace and blessings, Queen Cassandra Mesa. I don't see her tonight, but peace and blessings to her. Peace and blessings to my brother, my Yahoo also. But many people overlook the law and don't understand the law because they don't know that the scribes wrote the law. Moses didn't write Genesis, none of those books. Even through the books, you find out Moses is dead in the books. You have the narration through the books because the scribes are writing the books. So you have to rightfully divide the word of truth to know what Moses really said, to know what Yah commanded. And you know what is verified through all his prophets and his servants that he sent daily. But they denied and didn't want to hearken unto them. So I teach people to keep the law of Moses. If you're raised born under the law of Moses, you're supposed to keep it. But you're supposed to accept the law of Hamashiach. Because then you accept your scattered Israelite brothers and sisters. And when you bring them into the fold, we can bring the nations into the fold that wants to serve Yah and praise the Most High. But you have to bring the nation of Israel together and those that want to serve Yah along with the mission family. See, a lot of people hear me speak about Gentile, this Israelite, and that, but they know I teach all nations can be saved. It even spoken of in Revelation. The other nations shall come into the kingdom. We see this all in Isaiah. But we see that we have to bring the Israelite family together. So much hate between the Jew religion of Israelites. Many of them dwell in Africa. Many of them do not accept Messiah. Messiah brought us back into the fold, though that was scattered, that was counted as the uncircumcision, heathens, which they use the word Gentile. But you were promised back into the fold, and many of you are going to judge them, even those that deny you and deny the Hamashiach. But when they all began to accept him and accept all of us, and we accept them, we will be united. Then we can accept all others around us. We already accept the other nations. Non-Israelite people that want to praise Yah, we accept them because this is what Yah wants. He wants the earth to become righteous. We must subdue death, that Yah may be all in all. That was the purpose of the word while he walked in the temple of Yahushua. He's in authority. And when we come back together and in power, the spirit of Yah can dwell in all flesh upon earth. As one in unity under one power, under the priesthood of Yah, the children of the Most High, which is our duty. Our duty is not to rape, rob, pillage, none of those things. Our duty is to bring the spirit unto man, the words of Yah, order, law, the light. But we must bring it unto our brothers and sisters to bring us together to praise and serve Yah. But we know it's only going to be a remnant. And we see these other nations that wants to praise and serve the Heavenly Father. We accept them to come and praise him because he wants that. He created all men. All men come from the dust of the ground, the earth. That's why he said that Israel may see that they themselves are also beasts. We was treating other nations like goyim, or like animals and beasts. But you know what? Our flesh, Adam came from the dust of the ground. All the Adams came from the dust of the ground. Remember, they teach the Christianity story, and you believe Earth 6,000 years old, all men come from one person. But it's not what the Bible teaches. It's not what science teaches either. But then you understand, we all come from this mother, Earth. Created by the Heavenly Father, which is spirit, given the power of his word to form all things together and give knowledge and understanding to it. I don't see anybody hitting the link, family, but I'm getting ready to jump off because I know it's almost 12 o'clock, family. I'd like to give all praise to the Heavenly Father. Yo, by the power of his word, I rock. Hallelujah, family.